Yeah, I did, and it's back up. Hey guys, what's up? Coming in live from our church's men's retreat is the crossover podcast episode 29. We are live and have video now together finally in one place at our church's men's retreat. Thank you guys for tuning in. So definitely let's get ready to show. Rock it out with Three Musketeers. Matt is here, but he'll be in shortly. So try to reintroduce yourself.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. What am I? I'm getting some feedback. This is odd to me. I don't know. It's weird because this is the first time we're doing this visually live. So this will be fun. But yeah, this will be fun because now everybody can see our face while we're talking.
But yeah, so we're in it. We're in it. And like I said, Matt will be here shortly. But as we always start this thing, we started with our crossover hot takes. If you hear some stuff in the background, like we said, we're in a hotel lobby right now. Some of the audio we can't really control. So, the ones that we'll control, keep it to a minimum. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in later. So Trey will start it off with our crossover hot takes. So, does losing in the first round of the playoffs minimize Russell Westbrook's incredible season? Trey, take off.
Well, we kind of talked about this last week. And the idea of Russell Westbrook's just the idea of the idea of put up triple doubles and all these stats, and the fact that it's not necessarily leading up to wins, right? And I think it's great to see a player break records and you do something that hasn't been done in 50 years. But in this case, he lost in the first round of the playoffs. I think it was 4-2 or 4-1, if I'm not mistaken, that he lost. And so, does it minimize his incredible season? I don't know if it minimizes his season. I will say that I will say it does minimize his season, in one respect, because you would expect a player of this caliber playing at that level to be able to lead his team at least, past the first round. But, as we've mentioned before, Russell Westbrook's style of play doesn't necessarily lead to that. So, that's where we are with Russell Westbrook. Losing the first round does minimize his incredible season because winning is the ultimate goal. If winning weren't the ultimate goal, then the fact that he lost in the first round wouldn't mean anything.
All right, Matt, you go ahead. The question on the floor is, does losing in the first round minimize Russell Westbrook's season? Go ahead. As we're waiting for Matt, I will answer the question then. I don't think it minimizes. I think it does kind of minimize his season, only because, as Trey said, the ultimate goal of as we said, we're in the hotel lobby, so again, audio not controlled. So, but I think it does kind of minimize his season just because, like Trey said, your ultimate goal is to win. And if you don't win, then obviously you didn't do enough for your team to win, and you don't complete your team. And some people will say that, he obviously completes his team because, he wouldn't do triple doubles and all that stuff to get his team involved if he didn't help his team. But to me, what really helps your team is making the guys better. And a lot of people don't know that Russell Westbrook has an incredible season, right? But he he does triple doubles. He's inefficient. He shoots 32%. He really doesn't do a good job of getting his teammates involved. The last few quarters, he didn't really trust his teammates. And so when he didn't trust his teammates, that's what caused him to lose 4-1 in the series. There were plenty of times he was on the bench and it just didn't work because his teammates didn't have confidence. So I definitely think that, it does minimize the season because it's just like when Peyton Manning had those great statistical years and his team lost in the first round. It's all the same thing. So, you have to make your team better. And if you don't make your team better, then you're doing all this and having these incredible numbers to your team's detriment. I think that's Russell Westbrook to a fault. I like Russell Westbrook, but the way he plays is a detriment to his team. And even though he has a great statistical year, this does take away from it because when you have that great of a statistical year, you're expected to be at least in the conference finals. And that didn't happen. So I'm going to pass it off to Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
Statistics don't matter. At the end of the game, it's about who wins the game. And unfortunately, it took to see that. You shouldn't take away the fact you shouldn't take away the fact the accomplishment they made is a feat within itself. But at the same time, that's this is what happens. As far as when you don't when you lose the way that you did. It's a team game. It's a team game regardless. So you can go out and say and try to do all the things that you need in order to win the game, but if you don't have the personnel to do it, so it's up to the OKC front office to to literally build around Westbrook, or literally just take the entire their strategy and do what they have to do to get to the next level with just Westbrook. And that concludes draft, free agency, trade, whatever you got to do. Because if you don't learn from this mistake now, if you don't learn now, then this team will be in serious trouble.
Yeah, and I just like to add, going along with that, Russell Westbrook did very, very well with a team that was, I think I mentioned this on the previous podcast and the podcast before that, that this is as it was presently constructed, this is a Kevin Durant team that was built for Kevin Durant that Russell Westbrook took to the first round of the playoffs where they really shouldn't have been. And they wound up winning one game. Which is one game more than I gave them. But I thought they would get swept. And he did well. He had his triple doubles. He did all that. But like I said, he was inefficient. There were times when he would score 42, 51 points. It took him 42 shots, 34 shots. He is a ball hawk, and he needs to get it together, and ultimately, it's time for him to try and get more free agents, share the ball more, get compliments. There were times where he was missing Doug McDermott wide open in the corner for threes. He just needs to do better, and that's really all I have to say on the matter. Trey, do you have anything to add before we move on?
Yeah, actually, I did. The one thing that you mentioned was the idea of him sharing the ball. It's funny because he averaged a triple double this season, so he averaged more than 10 assists, which is an achievement. That's something that, as a point guard, your goal is to kind of be a floor general and orchestrate the offense. And in terms of assists, Russell Westbrook got the ball to his teammates, and they were able to score the ball. But the interesting thing is that these assists and him sharing the ball, him running around and being his normal, kind of almost not erratic, but wild basketball player. That just kind of comes out like he shares the ball, and so somebody throws up a shot and makes it. But he's not really orchestrating an offense. So, that's how things play out. And, like all of us mentioned, like, he lost in the first round.
So taking it away from here, sorry y'all. There you go. There will be a time for more Russell Westbrook discussions, and we wish them well. We hope that this team does better because the league is a better place when Russell Westbrook is still in the playoffs. So the next question on our hot take before we move right along is a favorite topic and a favorite topic of Matt's. It's our president. Does 100 days matter, or is it an artificial number? Matt, you can go first because I know you love talking about Trump.
I should have waited and got my alcohol or something.
They left some. They left the bottle of champagne in the glass.
Yeah, well. No, but here you go, right? The 100-day thing goes as far back as FDR, and with the 100-day mark, is pretty much is to where you want to try to accomplish what you can as set a president within the first 100 days. It doesn't mean the fact that this is what you're gonna do. This is where I'm gonna make this big old thing in 100 days. It takes more than 100 days to get your agenda out of the way. But say I'm gonna do 100. I'm gonna do these things in 100 days, and pretty much violate the law while doing it is blatantly crazy. And now you come out and say in 100 days it will be a lot easier than I thought it would be. And guess what? But at the same time, you have to understand that you have to work with lose my thought here. You have to work with Congress. You have to work with the city and work with people or with everybody else, or you get what you got to get done. So if you don't do that, you're screwed, and that's what's going on. And if you think it's too hard, resign. Only one president done that, and that was Nixon. Hey, what? It's not wrong with resigning. So why not?
Go ahead.
Drop the mic. 100 days. Wow. I didn't even think about. Has it really been 100 days?
The way it's been 200.
It's does it matter, or is it an artificial number? I think in one sense it matters because he's been president for 100 days, so And I remember in like first grade, or I guess it was first grade or whatever, first grade, second grade, elementary school. Like it was always a big deal. Like the 100th day of school, like you could bring in like 100 Cheerios or 100 whatever. Um, but 100 days as president, Donald Trump has done a number of things. I won't go into details about everything because we can't. We don't got time. But um, this 100 days that Donald Trump was speaking of, during his campaign trail, he's, in the first 100 days, I'm going to do these things. As far as I understand, I highly doubt that he's actually accomplished, the number of things that he wanted to do in these first 100 days. And to be honest with you, I'm glad because a lot of the policies and, for example, the wall. I mean, even in the last couple of days, we've seen that he's kind of stepped back on his original idea or proposal about the wall of Mexico, and then we hear things about Ted Cruz, um, using money from criminals that back over the border, using I guess you would say drug money to build the wall, but it's I don't know. It's interesting. Is it an artificial number, or does it matter? I think for Donald Trump it mattered. And you guys all who listen to the podcast know what we call Donald Trump. We say he's the first or the most inexperienced president. He's the first president with no true political experience, but he's really the first child president, to be honest with you. And the whole 100 days thing was, I mean, first of all, it was not something that was well thought out. It was all talk, and as we've come to see, it's really no game. You look at something. Another thing, for example, is the executive order or whatever for the Trump healthcare plan. That would have been Trump care. I mean, Republicans didn't even like it. And it's just, I don't know. It's the 100 days to Donald Trump mattered. It meant something to him, but for us, like, it was just some artificial number that he said, okay, we're gonna do this and this and this and this in the first 100 days, without any real plan as to how this will actually play out, how it will affect him, how it won't affect him, how it will affect the people. Is this actually plausible to do in 100 days? And you would think from a business perspective that, if I'm coming into a position and I want to do a certain number of things in 100 days, I'm going to have a certain plan in place to do those things. And it's not just going to be some type of thing where I just say, okay, we can do this with this and this, but not actually think about what those things mean for the country and what those things mean for yourself, what they might mean for your own party. So it's artificial for us, or not necessarily artificial. It's an asinine number. It's what's the word I'm thinking of? I can't even think of the word to call it, but for him, it does matter.
All right. For me, right, I think the 100 days. I think the 100 days are artificial. Is an artificial number that president. Well, that all presidents have made a thing that it takes 100 days to do stuff. It's really a very fake marker because, like Matt said, you can't really do anything in 100 days. You have to work with Congress. You have to work with Senate. Now, there have been many presidents with more legislative victories than Donald Trump has had after 100 days. I mean, even President Obama had some legislative victories to his name that he could add to it. He had the Louis Ledbetter Act. He had different things going on with that, and it was a good 100 days. And there's been plenty of presidents who haven't gotten their full agenda done in 100 days. So still yet to be seen with him. Hopefully, he will become more mature in the office. I know we've been hoping for that for the past couple of months, that he becomes more mature when it comes to being president, and that the office of president will have a better effect on him and more of a mature effect on him. But it's still yet to be seen. And I really hope that he becomes better at listening and being a leader, because that's what we need in a president. We need a leader, a really, really good leader, and we need somebody who can be able to maneuver. Now, Donald Trump sold himself to the American people as a negotiator, and so far he hasn't been able to negotiate anything. We barely avoided a shutdown today. If it wasn't for the fact that they narrowly passed a bill that to keep the government running for at least one more week, and then next week we'll be doing it again all next week, waiting for him to do something and make something of what we've been gifted to him. So I really, really hope that he does better. But he'll have a 100-day rally in our home state of Pennsylvania tomorrow. He'll be in Harrisburg, costing the state $118,000 to protect him as he comes and goes into campaign mode and campaigns that he'll be better, and telling the usual thing of, I've been the most successful president ever in my first 100 days, and so on and so on and so on. But my hope for Mr. Trump in these next 100 days and these next 3.5 years is that he will become more mature in the office. He'll become a better leader, and if that doesn't happen, then in 2020, I guess we'll vote him out. If he doesn't have more legislative victories, now something that put a dent in his economic reform is that the jobs report came out and there's only been 0.3 growth in the economy, which is the slowest economic growth we've had in forever since the recession. So, there's that too. So it's not really looking good for him his first 100 days. So we're gonna move right along unless Trey or Matt have anything more to add. Nope, we're good. All right, go ahead, Matt.
There you go. Look, Sharon George said it best, right? 100 days and 100 nights of no man's heart, right? So, in 100 days and 100 nights, we should know what this man is, was, and was going to do. Let me tell you something.
Look, he's what, 72 right now, right? I mean,
the oldest president that's been elected to. No, he's the oldest. Second oldest is Reagan. In 100 days and 100 nights, you gonna tell me the fact that he done told you what it's gonna be? He done told you what it was, right? So therefore, watch this. Tommy's gonna be its growth is like ever so minuscule, and yet you're gonna tell me I gotta endure this for 4 years? Racism, screwing people's health care, screwing up my money, tax. We ain't gonna go there. And you're not one, but two immigration bills blocked, and another presidential, whatever the heck it is, and healthcare. So I'm waiting for I cannot wait for 2018. I can't wait for 2018. I cannot wait. I mean, my thing is this: if he resigns, perfect. If he resigns, that's great. Impeach, but you know what? Your move.
You know what? That we forgot to mention is, we forgot to mention that his sanctuary cities thing was blocked too. The fact that he tried to stiff cities like ours and Sacramento and San Francisco, cities that uh, don't necessarily follow the immigration stuff when they come to illegal immigrants and stuff.
I was laughing so hard.
He went on a temper tantrum as he usually does when he loses. But you know, we hope, and our hope is that he matures. Even though we didn't vote for him, like I said, it's like rooting against a pilot who's flying the plane that you're on. Like you have to root. We obviously root for him because we want him to become more mature in the office, and we hope for maturity in office. But will we get it?
On Matt's face.
Probably not, but we hope so. We hope so. So moving on, guys, we broke the draft record yesterday. The draft has been emanating from Philadelphia, and we broke the record for the draft with 100,000 people on the Parkway. 100,000 people on the Parkway yesterday, and we have all that. We've done all that, and so I want to know, what do you guys think of the draft so far as we put our city on the map? Go ahead, Trey.
I mean, I think as far as the Eagles go, their first pick, Derek Barnett. I was a little bit surprised, but not upset, because pass rusher. That was one of their, especially after losing Benny Logan and cutting whatever his name is, white dude that left. Pass rusher was definitely a position of need. Now, the question is whether that was a primary need or not. And the answer is clearly that was not a primary need. However, at that point in the draft, for whatever reason, the Eagles, whoever was in that whatever they call that, the draft room or whatever, the war room, they determined that the best player available at a position of need was Derek Barnett. And I don't necessarily agree with that assumption, but the player himself, Derek Barnett, is a good player. He will fit well on this team and probably be a very good player for us for a while. And then later on in the draft, they did end up getting a cornerback in Sidney Jones. The only problem is, we kind of thought that this draft would be the draft where we got our future running back. And clearly at this point, I think there are a few guys on the table. Maybe got some guys like Donta Foreman or some guys in the later rounds that are still available. But the top three guys are gone. Christian McCaffrey went number 4 or 5. Leonard Fournette is gone, and Dalvin Cook just went second round, pick 41, right before the Eagles. So the three guys, or two of the guys in terms of running backs that were there for the Eagles are not there. But as far as the draft goes as a whole, there's a lot of surprises. There were some guys who we thought would go higher that didn't go higher. Some linemen that we thought might go earlier in the first round didn't get picked. I think only one offensive lineman actually got picked in the first round. Got picked last, I think, by the Saints. They picked up that last pick in the draft from the Patriots. There's a lot of players who really dropped. You got guys like Dalvin Cook dropped, to the middle of the second round. Gary Conley, who actually got picked in the first round but did drop because of the whole situation, the rape accusation. There's some guys who went up, who went up on some people's draft boards, namely Hassan Reddick, who plays for Temple, actually. He got picked right before Derek Barnett by the Arizona Cardinals, and that was a big surprise to me. I thought maybe he would be someone, go somewhere towards, the later end of the first round or in the second round, but they saw fit to draft Hassan Reddick. this draft has been a very weird draft, to be honest with you. But I think it's a very deep draft at a few positions. Another surprise is the drafting of Joe Mixon by who did he get? Who did Joe Mixon get drafted by? Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Mixon got drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals. Now they got two criminals. They got a criminal on the offensive side, got a criminal on the defensive side. You got Vontaze Burfict and Joe Mixon. No, I'm just playing. But it's a very interesting draft. I'm not totally satisfied by what the Eagles have done, but I mean I can move forward with what they've done and say, okay, we've got some pieces to move forward on, especially even on the defensive end.
See, I told you should stock up on defensive back. Did I tell you that? But check this out, right? I'll let the first round pick anyway because you lost Harbaugh and you lost Benny Logan, right? You need a pass rushing defensive end anyway. So you already fit the need based on what you needed right then and there, right? So therefore, I mean, it would have been great to get Delvin Cook because I'm surprised that he was dangling as far as the second round is concerned. Honestly, I thought we was going to get him. But then, the Vikings scooped him up because AP's in New Orleans.
Why do they have to do with the two quarterbacks, the three quarterbacks we got?
So with that being said, the draft has been pretty funny. It's been funny but interesting. But still, the Eagles are drafting what they need, in particularly depth positions. Because if we can get a running back late, in the late rounds or in the free agent market, with those that didn't get picked. So it's not a wash. It's not a wash yet. So we have a long way to go before we get to training camp. We have a long way to go. So the draft is pretty much half of the offseason right now. So you got the undrafted free agents. You got more free agents hanging out there. So this team is far from done. It's far from done. So let's see where this cookie crumbles.
Well, as far as I see it, again, the background noise, but like I said, we're a lot. It's going to. So, I think they made a very good pick in getting Derek Barnett, even though I wrote the article, and Trey, Matt, and us the guys at the street kind of laughed at it because I was so wrong during this draft. But it is not my fault that the Eagles, I won't call it stupid, but were arrogant and thought that he would be there when the Vikings. It's only because of the Vikings that we have so many picks. And so Eagles probably should have figured out that, the Vikings are probably going to screw us over because, they did. They took our running back. They might have the second coming of Adrian Peterson. Yo, what's up, yo? They had they picked what's the boy name? Derek Barnett from Tennessee. He broke Reggie White's sack record, which is very significant to its people in Philadelphia because Reggie White was the minister of defense, and that was a play on the fact that he was a Christian, and I guess he was a minister at some point in his life. Yeah. So he was Reverend Reverend Reggie Brown, and Reggie White, my bad, not Reggie Brown. I don't know why I got Reggie Brown, but Reggie White, Reggie White, and we had all that, and that was a good pick. I'm not gonna poo-poo the pick because that basically gave us a two-headed monster in having Fletcher Cox on one side and Barnett on the other. If he really is that good, which I hope he is, because he is going to be a very good pick for us if he is. And then we wound up getting Sidney Jones, the cornerback. Actually, I was right about that because I told y'all a couple podcasts ago that the Eagles would get that cornerback that they wanted from Washington who had his leg injured. One found out was his Achilles in the second round. So they did that. I was right about that. I just was mad about them not getting Dalvin Cook. I probably should have wrote that article, but as a writer, anybody that knows when you get that passion, you just gotta write, before you lose it. So Dalvin Cook went to the Vikings. I'm kind of salty about that, but eventually we will get a running back. Hopefully next round in the fourth round because we have 2 picks, unless the Eagles screw that up too. But we're going to be positive. We have a 4th round pick. And so far, the draft has been good for Philadelphia. Over 100,000 people, probably somewhere close to 200,000 a day. And as the weekend ebbs and flows, there'll be more people. So, the Eagles so far have had a okay to good draft. And if these 2 cornerbacks pan out that they got in these 2, it's basically been a defensive draft after a very defensive offseason last year. And I'm not a fan of back-to-back defensive free agencies, but, they did get the 2 wide receivers. So I guess the rationale is we can sign a running back in free agency if we don't get one in the draft. I don't know. With the only good running back being Jamal Charles, I don't really – because Eddie Lacy signed with the Seahawks, right? Yeah, so the only good running back left is Jamal Charles. So they need to draft somebody or else – the Philadelphia Chiefs name is going to stick to us for a while. Because basically what we're doing is exactly what the Chiefs do. If you think about what the Chiefs do, they have, and this is a long statement, so I might as well get this out before we move on. The Chiefs have 2 defensive ends, and Tom Bali and the other, and Dontavius Poe, right? And they have all that. They have the 2-headed monster at cornerback. They have the 2-headed monster at safety, which is what we have too. But Philadelphia Chiefs, man, that name is looking very, very steady. And I know I say this on this podcast all the time. I am an Eagles fan. I just know there's the similarities between us and the Chiefs. It might be because the Eagles maybe should have never fired Andy Reid. Maybe. That's all I'm saying. Matt's giving me the look.
They hired his protege.
Matt, I know you got something to say.
So you might as well be a Chiefs fan right here, right now. You might as well confess your love to Andy Reid and everybody in Chief Nation. Here you go, right?
I'm just saying they call the Philadelphia Chiefs because we're picking up on the Chiefs players.
Because we're trying to get rid of this Chip Kelly stench here, okay? It smells like crap. Look, you can talk one of the brothers. He's a 49ers fan right now. You tell him how you feel about it. It's like a wasteland, San Francisco. No, but look, put it this way, right? It was nauseating going through passing Geno's. It's nauseating enough. I hate those 2 places. Overrated, overpriced, okay? But to see 4 Cowboy fans eating at Geno's, I don't. This is mean saying this, but I hope they choke on one of those cheesesteaks. But other than that, the Eagles are doing what they're supposed to do. Stock up on defense in the draft. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Now, I thought we was going to get Cook but the Vikings got 1 pick before we did. Now, if the Eagles wanted them that bad, they could have traded up, but they didn't. So now we're here. Now what? Up on defense. If you get at least one more wide receiver. If you can get one, if not, stock up. I might get more depth. You need more depth in defense, but also at the same time, this is me. I just need one more O lineman. One more. I just need one more O lineman.
My thing with the Eagles is y'all wasted enough time on the defense. It's time to move on. You went back to back with cornerback, got a defensive end. The only thing you don't have is a middle linebacker. That's what we need.
Oh yeah, of course.
We need a running back. So you have 2 picks in the 4th round.
But the
Get a
Eagles
running back.
cannot. The Eagles cannot.
Listen. I don't care at this point. Just get a running back.
You had 3 shots. You blew it. Next.
All right, so get a running back. I know you listened to the show because they did. Because everything so far we predicted. Matt was the only one who called 2 CDs in a row. So I'll give him that. But
Yes.
so we're going to move on. So guys, is Kawhi Leonard really that good? Go ahead, Trey.
It's a dumb question.
I agree.
Fine. Is Kawhi Leonard? Has Kawhi Leonard alive? How about that? Is that a better question? Everybody's a critic when it comes to these questions.
Kawhi Leonard is right. We kind of talked about this last week too. I mentioned because Kawhi Leonard is one of my favorite players, and I like watching him. But I think what you have to understand about the Spurs is that a lot of the credit is given to Popovich rather than to Kawhi Leonard. And if just sit down and take some time and watch some tape on Kawhi Leonard. I mean, not only he's consistently improved statistically each season. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten better defensively, if that's even possible. I mean, he was already a good defender when he originally came into the league. He's developed an all-around offensive game and defensive game. And I like him as a player. He's very humble too. The man still drives like a 1997 Suburban or something like that, or a Tahoe. Yet he's making millions of dollars. I mean, he's just an all-around he's a likable guy. And if he were on another team, we'd be talking about him as an MVP candidate. To be honest with you.
You asked one more dumb question if he's that good. I'll have you tar and feathered. Now, watch this, right? He's coming into his own. Basically, he's coming into his own player now. Now, what's his name? Third year league? Fourth and fifth. I mean, around year. Pretty much around between year 3 and year 5, you start to establish yourself as the player that you are. I mean, we've seen from David Robinson to Tim Duncan to this. It's San Antonio. They are a model of NBA consistency. What more could you want? What more could you ask for? What more could you model? Man. Popovich sees players, and I mean, he won 5 college, but still, the fact is, talent-wise, you can't deny it. He's good. He's that good. At least he's one of the top 10. I'm not going as far as top 5. That's like shooting. That's a bit much. But watch this. If you're gonna go ahead and say, now he's up there. I mean, Damian Lillard's up here too. I mean, but as far as talent and the whole total package and everything else, that's a player you want to build around. I mean, that's a player that you need. That's your cornerstone. basically. So, with that being said, he is who he is. And he's keeping the San Antonio Spurs train running. It's going to be running for a lot longer.
Kawhi Leonard is the real deal. Even though it is the fellas think it's a stupid question. Y'all know what I'm trying to say because it's hard to word these questions when it comes to Kawhi Leonard because Kawhi Leonard is one of the premier in the league, and when you have that I think they said he is the only MVP candidate that improved his shooting. That was top 3 in defense, top 3 in shooting, and top 3 in threes. So he's a top player in everything that he does. And so having all that, Kawhi Leonard is definitely a complete player. When they drafted him, everybody said there was no fanfare for him. He basically made his own fanfare. Like he's the defensive player of the year from last year. He made his own way. He is San Antonio blue collar to the core, man. When you think of people like Tim Duncan, when you think of people like David Robinson, they were players who made their own way and made San Antonio theirs. And that's what Kawhi Leonard is doing, along with LaMarcus Aldridge, who is playing okay, but not playing like a $30 million man or however much money he signed for a couple years ago when he ran away from Portland. He's doing enough to keep him afloat and saving it until Kawhi Leonard comes. But you have all this, and the Spurs are basically living off greatness because they keep drafting good players, and when they draft when they drafted Kawhi Leonard, I'm pretty sure they didn't get all of that. They didn't dream that they would have all of this potential and all of this potential being fulfilled. And so having all that is great. And I'm very happy for the Spurs, and I hope that they continue to do well and continue to up until they will probably get bounced by the Warriors. So in the Western Conference Finals. Oh please, Matt, they're not getting past the Western Conference Finals. So and they still have to play Houston. So we'll see if they even get past Houston. San Antonio, but fun fact, there is one team that San Antonio has never beaten in playoff history since they made the playoffs, Houston. They've never beaten Houston in a playoff series. Next.
Well, I guess you go back to.
You're muted. You're too far away.
You go back to like the crazy Brady. Put up what 13 points? That was against Spurs, right?
So you have all that. I'm excited to see the series. So we're gonna move right along because the claw is the real deal. And so we're gonna move to the real interesting question that I know everybody's been dying to answer. It came out today that let me name it right now. Let me get on my mat and not give a crap. One, that Nike doesn't want to sign. That Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour have no interest in signing Lonzo Ball. Now, no, Reebok's not on there yet, so we'll see. But it's funny because I feel, and then I'll let the fellas get in on it. And the question is this: no one wants to sign Lonzo Ball to an endorsement deal. It's more of a statement than a question. But here's the question part: is that because of his father? Now I'll answer that question because Matt is over here laughing, ready to jump in. So I'll try and make it short, but it probably won't be short. But Lonzo Ball is becoming a victim. Actually, I think we talked about this a couple podcasts ago, that Lonzo Ball would be the victim of his father's, for lack of a better term, boisterousness, right? His father can't shut his mouth. His father can't shut his mouth. And it's the reverse NFL effect because the NBA is known to not be as punishment centric when it comes to this stuff than the NFL. So Now Nike. Now when you think about Nike, that's LeBron, that's Michael Jordan, that's Scottie Pippen. There's a lot of Nike athletes, right? Nike doesn't want him. Adidas doesn't want him, and they have Trey's favorite player, John Wall, in their employ, and James Harden, but they don't want him. And Under Armour doesn't want him, probably because of the way his father installed Steph Curry. I would assume that's probably why they don't want him. They don't want to be associated with that. And you have this man's father's dream is to get him $1 billion shoe contract. It's kind of hard to get yourself $1 billion shoe contract when your mouth moves people away. Like, this man is a black, and I hate to say it, but he's Black Donald Trump, man. He can't shut his mouth. Whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Facebook saying I can beat Michael Jordan, I can beat Steph Curry. He is ruining, and I think I said this on the last podcast. Stray can help me remember that I said that he is going to ruin his son's potential at making money outside of the court, off the court. And right now it's happening, man. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy because that man cannot shut his mouth. So if I was Lonzo Ball, LaMelo, and the other one, because I can't remember the third one's name, I would put their father, I said LiAngelo, I would put their father in isolation. He couldn't leave the house. He can't go to no games. He can't do nothing because him being anywhere brings cameras. Yeah. So you got to put him somewhere. You got to take his access to everything away so that you can be able to just play ball. Because I'm telling you, because the consensus is you're not number one pick. You're not better than Markel Fultz. Fultz, whatever. You're not better than Markel. So, but if you come to Philadelphia and you and your dad say you're the best Sixer ever, it's going to be a riot. I'm telling you now, man. Keep your father. I'm telling you now. Do what a lot of us do. Keep your father away from your interests. And Matt is missing his chance because he's talking. So we're going. I've eaten Lonzo Ball enough. So I'm gonna let him get his chance in a minute. But Lonzo Ball, Lonzo Ball's father has literally, he has, to put it in a term for all my '90s kids, he has ethered his son's chances of ever getting $1 billion shoe contract. Matt has a better.
Ether ain't the word, okay?
All right, well, we'll get there.
Matt,
go ahead. You want me
What?
Well, put it this way, right? There has to be a better word than just ether, okay? Put it this way. There will not be a $100 million shoe contract because of his father. His father has to shut up, get out the way, and let his son do his thing. Now, like I said before this podcast, and I said it again, when you're in your kid's way, look, your dream, it becomes an issue. And watch this. When that happens, it's no longer the kid anymore. It's no longer the kid anymore. That your child's pursuits, interest, it's about you. For all that, my responsibility. You play the NFL. You play in the World Football League, which is now defunct. You've been on NFL practice squad for like 3 different franchises, I believe. And yet, we don't know you. I don't know you. Until you popped up out of the middle of nowhere with your son playing UCLA. Very good ball player, mind you. Very good ball player. That man's going to be drafted. Albeit, probably in the second round. Because it's nonsense. It's a what it can't use. It's a circus. It's a circus. And the more the circus continues, and if more people entertain this circus, his stock value drops. And also, believe it or not, any company will not want to deal with that mess because, watch this. If I'm a company, if I want someone to be a spokesperson for whatever it is
Hold on, Mr. Willow. To be fair to Mr. Ball, the reason they're all passing is because LeVar wants big baller license, which means he wants Nike to license Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour, not just to have their license, but to share the license with him. So you can go on.
what?
So just to bring it down. Basically, he wants to share the license between Nike, whatever the shoe company is, so it's not just the sole possession of Nike, it's the possession of the father.
So in other words, basically, not only his son's making money, he's making money off of his son. That's not right and that's not fair. I mean, your job is to be a father. That's it. That is a thankless job. That is something that too many people give up. And some people killed me. But to cash in because you are said father is wrong, it is unethical, it's immoral. And for the most part, that shows you have no conscious or spiritual moral in your being because you see money in your kid. It's wrong, it's stupid, and it's immoral. Trey, kill me.
I think their father needs to. Well, this is what I said. I think it's great to see that their father is so involved in their lives. Like, I mean, I applaud him for it, especially as African Americans. But some of the comments he's made when their mother is white, stuff about Lonzo Ball's white teammates, or any of the number of comments that their father has made, it's only going to hurt. In particular, Lonzo Ball's draft stock, to be honest, because it's like baggage. And so when a team drafts Lonzo Ball, they're also drafting his father because his father is just because of the type of person he is, the personality that he is. And I mean, he's a grown man, so we're not going to shut him up unless somebody actually takes his social media from him. Now, I do think once Lonzo is drafted, and then you have LaMelo Ball who will be going to college, LaMelo will go to college next year, and he'll probably be in the draft, and the following year. But I think once any of his sons are drafted, actually, the addition of an agent probably will actually lessen the controversial comment side of their father. Now, maybe he'll say those things privately, but I think publicly with an agent, because an agent will understand, help him understand that, okay, you say certain things, whether you're right or wrong, it may or may not make your son look bad, and may prevent him from getting the best possible shoe deal, or the best possible TV commercial deal, or the best possible deal with this company or that company. And so as far as the shoe deal thing goes, I do think it has to do a lot with his father. The same way that when a team goes to draft Lonzo Ball or LaMelo Ball or Leandro Ball, they're going to think about their father. And because of that, I do believe that a lot of the shoe companies, or most of the shoe companies, are like, I don't know if we're ready to sign Lonzo Ball yet. Also, I don't really think that Lonzo Ball or any of the Ball brothers are, to be honest with you, they're big, but are they really worth, $1 billion shoe deal. And think about think about it. LeBron James got what? I mean, it was a $100 million deal before he even graduated high school and bought that Hummer. But LeBron James is, I mean, if he's not the greatest of all time, he's the second greatest of all time. We don't know that about Lonzo Ball yet, but I mean, if we're saying Lonzo Ball or any of the Ball brothers are worth, even let's say $100 million shoe deal, you're equating them with LeBron James. You're putting them on that level, and I don't think at this point they are on that level.
No, they're not. Because watch this. Because if you think about it, LeBron James, before he got drafted, was hyped to be number one. So and his talent sets up the way they pushed him. He was a media machine before he was a media machine.
Right, but LeBron James' father was not in the picture.
Exactly. No.
With the Ball brothers, their father was in the picture, and because of that, a lot of the companies are not necessarily a liability, but they don't want any of his controversial comments tied to their company.
Exactly, because it's like this. If you're a brand, whether it's Nike, this, whatever, if athlete you represent, says, doing this thing, and then one of their peeps, in this case his father, would say something that stupid, of course it's going to threaten their brands and threaten their bottom lines and threaten whatever. So they have every right to say, no, we're not going to touch this because it's too hot, it's too dangerous.
And that's why I think, and I probably, but that's why I think once that the agent will help him in the PR aspect because he understands that now not only this prevented him getting a shoe deal, it's hurting the team.
Right.
Well, they just need to take his Twitter away, like they just need to take his Twitter away, like they took away.
Psychotherapist or whatever.
Yeah.
This is how you get rid of people who won't be fired. Get rid of their Twitter account. That's how Trump to do it with whatever his name is. What's their father's name?
LeVar.
LeVar Ball.
Everybody with L's and stuff. But with him, they just need to take his Twitter. They need to just make sure that he can't be anywhere near the business of his sons. He can be the father. See, this is what happens when parents don't understand their roles, right? This man is trying to be a manager, a father and a manager at the same time. He can't do it. He can't do. He has to be one or the other. He's either the father or the manager. He can't be both.
Like I said, it's possible to do that, but you have to know your role. You have to know your role.
Well, he doesn't.
Of course he does. He's an idiot. But like I said, I'll take Carl Lindros, for example. And I said this before. Carl Lindros and his son, Eric Lindros, as a hockey player, one of the best in the 90s. But in the way.
Might need to take care of something.
But I'm gonna shut up and say this though. But you can be a parent and take your managerial side and parental side and split it down the middle. But this man cannot. Plain simple.
All right. We're gonna let Matt do his other favorite, love. Go ahead and do your baseball.
Well, it's funny you say it. Remember that dirt bike accident that Madison Bumgarner had?
Yeah.
Well, he's out 3 months of a grade 2 left shoulder sprain. So, almost had like I think a combined no hitter. I think it was early in the season. He'll be gone until what? June, if not July. So he's out for there. The Phillies basically they are on fire right now, but it's April. You can't win.
Six in a row, right?
It's six in a row right now. I think they're up. I think they're playing right now in against the Dodgers. So, but yeah, basically this Phillies team is right where it needs to be. Expect anything more from it.
No, they're probably down 5-2. Top of the game.
They're gonna lose. So, but anyway, it, it's April. It's early, and I think they found their new closer right now, in Hector Neris. I mean, he's got electric stuff anyway, so I don't see Jamar Gomez calling back to be a closer anytime soon. I really don't. But the one person you need to look out for right now on this roster is Maikel Franco. The man hit like 2 grand slams in this month, and that's a Phillies record for April. So, and my thing is, he needs to pretty much keep that approach that he has in order to become that franchise player that they need him to be, that cornerstone for the franchise. So and also Cesar Hernandez is a beast. He's a beast. He's one of those guys that gets on base, literally gets on base. Top 5 in steals, OBP, OPS, and batting average. So, with that being said, more injuries are coming.
All right. That was Matt's baseball thing. We'll figure out what to call it, some fancy title for it. Maybe it'll be cooking with Mac or something. I don't know. Mac cooking. I don't know. Max hot stove. I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out. But we'll move on. We'll move on to our more basketball and football heavy topics because we have to do some quick hitters. Because we all, like we said, we're in the middle of a men's retreat. We're coming live from a hotel lobby where we're all in the same place for like once on a Saturday. So we need to get to bed because we do have to be up by 7:45. So like in another 4 or 5 hours, right? Something like that. Anyway, we're going to have. So the next question is, was Rajon Rondo the key to the Bulls' success? And I don't know if they won or lost. I think they probably lost. So was he the reason why the Bulls weren't in the playoffs? Go ahead, Trey.
Well, as much as Rondo his game has diminished and no longer truly fits what teams look for in a point guard anymore. He does have, a lot of playoff experience. Been to the finals twice, and has a championship ring. So I mean, it's not like Rondo is just some bum off the street. He's still a great he's still a great facilitator, and still plays solid defense. But I think Rondo and Jimmy Butler and D Wade and those guys, they just had to learn how to play together. Mind you, this is their first year playing together. I mean, think about the big three in Miami, and what year was that? The 2011 season. You would think that they would just their best friends. They would think that they would immediately get be right on track and go win a championship, but that didn't happen. So I think on this level with 3 players who aren't even a big three, playing together, never played together in their life. I think it was just a matter of time before they started actually playing a little bit better together. What was Rondo the key to their success? I mean, I don't think you can really say that Rondo was the key to their success. I think it just had to do with. Yeah, I think it was more of a chemistry thing with that. I think Rondo may have kind of pushed them to maybe where they are now, but I don't think he was the key to their success. Where without Rondo, they couldn't have been successful. It's just that somehow I'm not sure if they won tonight or whenever they played, but it's not like Rondo was the key to their success. Maybe with him, they're playing a little bit better somehow. I think it has more. It's more of a coincidence rather than something that's what's the word I'm looking for? It's not. I wouldn't say it's a coincidence. Excuse me. I would say it's more of a coincidence.
So Matt's not going to answer this, I guess. But for me, I think Rajon Rondo is I guess the Energizer Bunny when it comes to the Chicago Bulls. Now, as we speak, Chicago lost, so they had their chances, but as soon as Rajon Rondo got injured his hand, that was the end for them. And, it's unfortunate that was the end for what looked like a promising season. Like the Bulls came together after that fight between basically Dwayne Wade, Jimmy Butler, and Rajon Rondo, and they all three of them finally came together. I guess Dwayne Wade realized I have 3 rings, you have 1 ring, together we have 4. We need to get this together. So that's what they did. Fred Hoiberg stayed out the way. I hope Fred Hoiberg enjoyed his last NBA coaching career because he'll be back in college. I expect him to be fired. Rajon Rondo is the Energizer Bunny, although he is a headache. He's probably the number 1 headache in the NBA because of how he's been from team to team since he left Boston. Hasn't really had anybody to challenge him. He's sort of like a more extreme form of, how I would put it is he's a very alpha personality. And, as an alpha, he needs to be challenged. And I don't think he's had anybody to challenge him since Kevin Garnett left the Celtics and Paul Pierce. So no one's been able to keep him in check. And that's my answer to it. And Rajon Rondo is definitely a great player, but he's ultimately just looking for a home, and I guess he found one in Chicago. They'll accept him. Matt, you want to answer, or should we move on?
Yeah. Put it this way, here you go. As far as Chicago is concerned, right? Here you go. Rondo does not fit. It's more. I think Jimmy Gordon. I forgot. What's his name? I can't think of his name right now. No.
Paul Pierce.
Oh, it's basically Isaiah Thomas's team. It is what it is. For how this team is playing right now, basically it's like this. Isaiah has been the man. He's been literally, I would say he's been thrusted, but he just took it over. He took over as the man in Boston right now. And for me, it's watching Celtic games, which I despise, I hate, I loathe, I can't stand as a Sixer fan. Yeah, puke green, funny. But it's the fact that this team is a better team than Chicago to me. It really does. I mean, Chicago's looking like a broke, busted team. So, for what I've seen, this is Isaiah Thomas's team, point blank. And this I can't remember if it's still in series or not, but still, it's still Isaiah Thomas's team. Bottom line.
All right, well, moving right along. We kind of talked about this already, but will the Eagles get their franchise running back before the draft's over? We'll just go yes or no. I'm going to say, hope. I'm going to put a very tepid yes on this. I hope so. Uh, Matt, you go ahead. Yes, no.
Hell no.
Right.
Yeah, you're a savage, though.
I say they will find a running back, but I don't think he will be the future running back. I think that running back, they'll find the Samaje Perine.
Moving right along to our next to last question. Should the 76ers think about drafting Markel Fultz? I'm struggling with his last name for some reason. Markel Fultz. I guess I'll take it. Okay. Trade.
Marco Fultz is one of the top prospects in the NBA draft. It's been a debate, you know. I mean, since the college season started, whether the first pick should be Lonzo Ball, and where Markel Fultz fits in. Markel Fultz is actually, he's like he's a younger version of Russell Westbrook. I think that's a fair comparison in terms of his play style. Except I think Markel Fultz is a better shooter. But should the Eagles pick him up? I do think that Markel Fultz can play off the ball. I don't think that his jump shot is good enough for him to be a player where he's playing off ball a lot. Now, if you want him to be a primary ball handler, he's mostly a scorer, and from my understanding of what his skill set is that he needs the ball in his hand to be most effective. That's not to say that, like I said, he can play off ball, but he's most effective with the ball in his hands. And if that's the case, and the Sixers, I'm speaking as if the Sixers want Ben Simmons to be their point guard. You need a player who can play more off ball. You need a shoot. You need a 3-and-D guy who maybe can also handle the ball as well. But you need somebody who doesn't necessarily need the ball in their hands to score, but can also be a floor general.
So while Matt tries to figure out who Markel Fultz is, I'll end this one. But I think that the Sixers should think about drafting him, especially since he is a full thing. I think he's a point guard, but I definitely think he can be converted into a shooting guard. I think that, I personally, I know this is what everybody in the front office of the 76ers and on the coaching staff wants, but I don't think Ben Simmons will make a good point forward just because he is, to me, too small. He is not Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you think about Giannis Antetokounmpo is 6'10", 6'11". Basically, he is basically 7 foot. And Ben Simmons just had a late growth spurt to make him 2 inches, to make him 2 more inches, which puts him basically, I think, at 6'11". So he's almost there. But to me, I think he'd be better served as a small forward, like basically being what LeBron is, playing as a small forward and not necessarily a point guard. Being a point guard when it matters, but not really, just because he is, and I made this point on this podcast before, much like Russell Westbrook, he is a turnover machine. And as a turnover, this is what happened in college. He turned the ball over a lot when they put the ball in his hand. He made good decisions, but he turned the ball over way too much for me. And I think if you can get a better, more serviceable point guard, somebody who's a ball handler, somebody who can make good decisions, somebody who has and I know Trey just said that he has a serviceable to okay jump shot, somebody who you can work on the jump shot with, then so be it. Because you have so much going on, and the serviceable jump shot is what they need. And I think that, once once they work with him, if they are speaking like Trey, as if they've already drafted him. Once they draft him, I think that they can make him a good good point guard or shooting guard. Unless anybody has anything to add, we're going to move on to our last question, which is Philadelphia the best dang sports town on the planet based on the draft? Because we had the draft, so it's back in the forefront. It's back where it needs to be. Our city. Go ahead, Trey.
Well, um, it's, I mean, Philly fans would say yes. Anybody from Philly would say yes. I mean, yeah, I think it's great that the draft is in play. You know, you have the NFL draft experience, and you had the draft. I mean, the fans loved it. Those of you who watched the draft or were listening to the draft, at one point, I don't know if it happened last night, but I know it happened tonight when Roger Goodell came up to begin the second round. He immediately got booed. And I imagine that a lot of those people booing him were Philly fans. I guarantee it. But you know, I mean, Philly is a great city. So I mean, you know, and arguably is the best fan base or one of the best fan bases across all sports, or at least the major sports: baseball, baseball, football, basketball, maybe even hockey. I don't know about hockey too much. Um, but Is it the best sports town? I mean, from my perspective, yeah. The Phillies have a lot of history. Flyers have a lot of history. Eagles have a lot of history. Sixers have a lot of great history. Think about it. Sixers have one of the greatest players of all time. And you got Dr. J, play for the Sixers. Sixers. You got a. I forgot about Wilt Chamberlain. Charles Barkley played for the Sixers at one point. For the Phillies, who played for the Phillies? I mean, you got Ryan Howard, Chase Utley. These are guys within the last 15 years. You got Pete Rose.
Mike Smith.
Right? Yeah, Mike Smith. And as far as the Eagles go, you got Donovan McNabb, Reggie White. I said Donovan McNabb. Andy Reid is probably, is the greatest coach in football history. Ron Jaworski, Chuck Bednarik. Philly has a lot of history, and to me, you can make that argument that it is the best sports town, and on the, I guess on the planet, unless somewhere out in another galaxy, there are other best sports towns.
For anyone to say that Philadelphia is not the greatest sports city in the world needs to be shot in the face. Look, put it this way. Philadelphia is a passionate fan base. When you come here, we expect a lot. We expect a lot from you. And if you don't live up to those expectations, you will hear it. You will get booed. In fact, a lot of athletes who came and went here, who played here, actually stay and live in the area. Stay here, work here, whatever. So that's one thing. Be this, right? The Eagles been here since 1933. The Sixers been here since 1963. Before that, the Warriors since 46. The Flyers been here since 67. The Phillies been here since 1883. I can go on for days about Richie Allen not being in the Baseball Hall of Fame. That's another argument. You can walk around literally the fact that yes, we haven't won the titles since 08, before that 83, before that 80, before that 75 and 74. I can go on forever. But the fact of the matter remains simply this. This is a great sports town. And the fact that it's not one of those passive Hey, it's okay. It's like we know what we're talking about. We know what's going on. We're not stupid. I mean, I I'll take Atlanta. Atlanta's fan base. I'm not taking a shot. Atlanta's fan base is terrible. It is the worst. I mean, they've lost two. Well, they lost two. They lost two hockey franchises. One in Calgary, the other one in Winnipeg. Atlanta is terrible, pretty bad, and it can rival any other city. Cleveland, New York, LA is sort of nothing but a bunch of flakes. Phoenix flakes too. But the fact of the matter is, Phoenix, Philadelphia. It is, as Harry Callis said it, the best fans in the world. Bottom line. If you want to say about Chicago, let them have their fun because they have lost for 108 years. But I'll take Philadelphia over Chicago. Thank you. Next.
Listen, man, Philadelphia, and I'll come back on camera for this. Philadelphia is a great sports town, period. But I'm just not even going to talk about just sports. We'll talk about stuff that's happened recently. The draft is being used on our parkway. We're the only unique city with a free space like that to have outdoor events on all year round, if you really wanted to get technical. But that's how great of a town it is. But that's how great of a town this city is. This city is such a great town. The Pope chose to come here for his first official visit in America, period. Uh, you know, with a new Pope. This city is where, and the suburbs are where, even though we never technically count the suburbs, this city is where the revolution started. This city is great at everything. We're passionate. We're supportive in what we do. Now there are some towns that count titles. I I visited New York. New York is a town that likes to count its titles by the Yankees. DC is a town that likes to be defined by the color of the people that live there. Philadelphia is the only town where the definition of the city is blue collar and passionate. We do everything very passionately, and our teams eat, sleep, and breathe this. I have never been to a city and lived in a city where I can literally say that our sports teams represent us to the fullest. They're blue collar. We don't accept no BS. Philadelphia is where it's at. It's where it is, and that's why people feel so special when they come here. Heck, even Roger Goodell said on a radio show today that it felt good to be booed in Philly. For some reason, it's just some good experience in Philadelphia that happens where where people just feel so great about this city. It's because you can tell here, this is one of the most authentic cities. And I'm kind of biased because I've lived here, but this is one of the most authentic cities I've ever been at. We don't try to hide nothing. We ain't fake. We're not we just do what we do, and our teams just represent that. The Phillies won their title in '08. The city basically almost burned down when that happened. You know, the this city is so great that we'll even welcome championship teams that win stuff that's not even technically from Philly. Looking at you, Villanova Wildcats. We'll let you come and party in our downtown area and get a title. They're not technically from Philly. So what? It's not Philadelphia. I like Villanova, but I'm just saying that's how open we are as a city. Like some people say we're starved for championships, but I don't feel that way because our attitude is great. We don't hide anything. Our teams know that. We expect the best from them. As long as you're getting passion and good on the field products and good business as a whole in Philadelphia, you'll be great here. Some people just can't handle what we put out, and I'm grateful that my city is, never left the map, as Matt would say and Trey would say, but it's back on the map in a very positive way going into the draft. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like we said, we were coming live from a hotel lobby where we're having our men's retreat at. Let us know if we should do more of these. As Trey made a rule that we can't. We only go live on video and in person, showing our faces. unless we're all in the same place. Like I said, we at the beginning, we all just happen to be at the same place with this retreat. Hopefully, we can do more of this. Our schedules got aligned because one person on this podcast is technically live in Pennsylvania, so that was always a trip to be in one place outside of Sunday. But we'll definitely be great. As you see, even live, we still have this friendly thing going on. So this is great. Like I say every week, I love hanging out with these guys. I definitely wish more of our correspondents could be here. We do miss our DC, our other perspective, our DC friend Tristiania. One day she will come back, hopefully. Who knows? Maybe Matt scared her off by assaulting her Redskins and Nationals. Who knows? And Capitals. Yeah, I'm blaming you, Matt. But yeah, have a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of what's left of your Saturday night, and we're gonna get some sleep and finish watching the draft and everything else. See you guys next week. Probably not live on video, but still through pictures of us. So have a good one, guys.